You're watching the Newsroom, Islam Newsroom. The news you want when you want it, from the Islamic perspective. I'm Yusuf Estes, and this is Islam Newsroom. You're watching the Newsroom, Islam Newsroom, coming to you from our studios here at Guidus TV. In today's program, we're going to take a look at a number of subjects that are applicable to Muslims in particular, living here in the West in the English language. To start, and we'll begin right away, there has been discussion over something we posted just a few days back. We told you about it. The ancient Quran leaves, which means pages basically, from a book discovered after 100 years of being in storage in the UK and the university. And what is important about it to us is to show other people that it remains the same as it always was. This puts to rest this argument that folks have had for a long time about saying that, well, the Quran has been changed over time and blah, blah, blah. The fact that this one, carbon dated to be at the time of the Prophet, peace be upon him, proves, at least to some extent, for some people, that Islam has validity. When we say we have our original, we know what we're talking about, at least that is something. Of course, there will be those who will argue and say, well, wait a minute, just because you have an old piece of paper that's just like everything else, so what? Doesn't mean you're right. Okay, we'll talk about that more in our program a little bit later. I want to move on, though. Another subject we have is that 37 Korean soldiers entered into Islam. Now, you may wonder, well, what's the big deal there? These are soldiers in the Korean, we'll come to that. The Korean Army and what's going on with that, and we've got a few pictures for you to see there. Another story that we have, top story tonight, is Saif al-Islam Gaddafi, the son of former, you remember Muammar Gaddafi, everybody remembers him. This is his son. He's been captured, he's in custody, and now he's awaiting trial. He's been awaiting trial actually for some time, and I understand that they just recently, like in the last few days, have had their trial, had their results, and they want to assassinate him or kill him or, whatever. What do you call it when you put somebody to death? Death penalty, there you go. So, yeah. Now, another story we have is how you can give a free Quran to someone and help us distribute these remaining Qurans that we still have after Ramadan. We still have over half of those, and we need to get them out. We'll also be talking about attacks on Islam and how we, as Muslims here in the West, have the responsibility to provide the proper sources for people to find the right answers to what they're saying to these attacks. Another subject we have coming up for you is how Islam deals with depression. Somebody says to you, have a nice day. Sometimes I can't have a nice day, so what am I supposed to do? Well, we talk about that from the Islamic point of view. Hillary Clinton's had some accusations of secret emails that have other politicians worried about her possibilities for running for president. Yeah. And then, of course, we always have our subjects about what's halal, haram. We're going to be talking about cigarettes. Are they really haram and why? The haram and halal of the McDonald's, the meat that they've got. Something about the Pope. You remember the Pope quit after he read something. We might be talking about that a little bit later. Names for the babies. Oh, everybody likes that one. The holy books, we're going to talk about that maybe. And then if there's time, we'll even go down and be talking about successful marriages. How to have a blessed and success in your marriage. Yeah, I want to talk about that. Shaking hands with women, what's that all about? And if there's time, we've got a subject down here about the Josephus Project. This is something that, for those of you who are really into studying the historical compilation of outside, we're talking about materials outside the collection of biblical texts that refer to things at that time from the Jews who lived at that time and early Christians. So that is what else we've got. Other articles you may be interested in, if we don't have time to cover them, you might like to know about the Jesus test and how that's going. That's one of our most popular of all of our articles, because when you try to do it, you find out some strange things. In fact, I'm going to start backwards tonight, and I'm going to go toward the end of our collection here and talk about the Quran mistakes. This is called Yusuf Estes Quran Mistakes, and let's take a look at this one right now. Not going to have our break. We're going to go right to this, and then we'll do our break, inshallah. All right, let's do that. And this is talking also about how you can get apps for your Android phone to help you stay in touch with what we're doing. Some of the mistakes, as a dedicated Christian, when I used to read the Bible, I went along with everything that the pastors and ministers said to preach the word. And Koran, that's what we used to call it. Koran is just a made-up book. We said they were hijackers, talking about Muslims, kidnappers, terrorists, bombers. They don't believe in God. They just pray to some black box out in the desert. Big mistake, yeah. After listening to these pastors and ministers saying, you know, whatever you do, don't read that book. Well, you know, others said, if you read that book, you'll get a demon. Well, I decided I'd read the book. Whoops. And for sure, whatever I got sure made me happy. The satisfaction of knowing that there is proof from Islam that there was an original Bible. There's proof from Islam that there really was a man by the name of Isa ibn Maryam, that means Jesus, the son of Mary, who was born as a miraculous birth. Yes. And he did miracles. Yes. And he told people about the real salvation, how to get to paradise. And at the same time, to find that balance within Judaism, which was the religion that, of course, he was born into, between that and some common sense that at the time was really needed. So there's proof in Islam for all of this and more. Islam puts your heart, your soul to rest on these issues, the vital issues, the critical issues that come up in your life every day. We're going to be talking about that when we come back, when we talk about how Islam deals with depression. You want to stay right where you are. Don't go away. Watch this, and we'll be right back with more Islam Newsroom. We estimate there are approximately 4,400 Qur'ans on each one of these pallets, and there are 5 pallets. That puts it at 22,000 total Qur'ans. The number of boxes I didn't count yet, but inshallah we have to do all of that before we can start distribution. Every time somebody opens up this book and said, La ilaha illallah, how do I become a Muslim? This is Jannah. If you got anybody who come to Islam from the efforts that you did like this, Jannah.
Get guided. Oh, Guidance TV.
Welcome Sheikh Yusuf Estes and the newly converted Muslims.
MashaAllah. Newly converted Muslims. MashaAllah, MashaAllah. Oh, I love this. And you can watch it anytime if you just get the apps, the free apps for iPhones, iPads, also the smartphones. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. The smartphones and the Android phones, you'll be able to do it real easy, and it is free, and you can watch it anytime. Wa alaikum salam. We're about ready to give some more shahadas, and you can join us. You can also help donate. Donate online at guideus.tv. Yeah, guideus.tv/donate. Allahu Akbar. And you can be helping these people get to Islam too. Ah, Allahu Akbar. Allah gives the hidayah. He guides the people with Guide Us TV.
Get guided, get guided. Oh, Guide Us TV.
We're back. You're watching Islam Newsroom. I got a little tip for you. Take a look at this. This little thing that you're looking right here, that's the icon that you need to look for on your mobile phones to get the app that we're talking about, because I'm using the app. I've got my phone over here. Using that app really makes it easy. I'm going down the road tonight when we were on our way over here, and I said, you know what, let me check out some stuff on the Islam Newsroom myself. So after putting in my passwords and doing all that stuff, it was just so simple. I just hit, I know you can't see it from there, but I have that same icon that you're looking at here on my phone. Just bingo, it's a free app, of course. And then, oh, it says I need a password for this. No, I don't need that. It goes right to it. And what's nice is, I like this part of it, because the way it does this, you can just go from one article to the next article, and at the bottom of each, I think it gives you 5 or 6 on there, and then you hit next page, and so on. This is one of the coolest little apps. Very simple, doesn't take up any space really, not much on your phone, and doesn't require a bunch of permissions and all the rest of it. It's just nice. You can keep up with what we're doing. Keep in mind that Islam Newsroom is set to provide us with the information that we're looking for every day. We want to be able to know some of the things that are going on that are not just bad news, the blood and guts and gore, not the chaos and fitna that's all over the place. What we want to be able to do is to show our family, well, first of all, for ourselves, to find out things that will help me get through this day as a Muslim, things that I want to know about, but are applicable to my life here and now. Then on top of that, to be able to share that with my family. I'd like to encourage us to set aside time. I don't care if it's 5 minutes, 10 minutes a day, 20 minutes, but choose a time, maybe right after the Fajr Salah, or maybe before you go to bed at night, but a time when you can bring your family together and just be together for the sake of Islam. Pull out the Quran, each one of you sit there and read it. You can, you know, if you've got one of these little small ones that we carry around with us, in fact, that's what we send out, or if it's one of the larger ones and you want to, you know, sit and read the Arabic along with it, whatever you want to do, but make it so that it's a family thing that you're doing. You're involving your family in something applicable to Islam. You see what I'm saying? That's number one, to have this source. But then the next source, or the reason for the source, to go to our neighbors, those who are Muslim or non-Muslim, to go to the society at large, to be with the folks that I meet every day at the convenience stores where I buy my fuel, or if I go to some place, pick up a newspaper or something, and I'm talking to people, I like to have something I can share with them. And this app is a free app, and you can tell them, would you like to be able to get the Islam news? There's the app. Or another thing you can do, and this I do it all the time, is I like to keep I'll show you how to do this. I just keep it bent over one of these bumper stickers. You keep it in your purse or keep it in your coat pocket, something. Just pull it out and say, I'd like to give you a gift. It's a little small gift, but I'd like to give it to you. Just say that. I'd like to give you a little small gift. And it says on it, worship the Creator, not the creation. And of course, it has the Guidance TV logo. Has a website on there too, Guidance TV. You're helping promote Islam when you do that. You're helping share this message right away. This is an obligation for all of us to take care of. So these apps that we're talking about, the one I just mentioned, Islam Newsroom, but also there's another app for Guidance TV. To get these apps, very simple. Whether you have an iPhone or if you have the Android, Motorola, whatever, Samsung, type in Guide Us as though it was one word, then put a dash, and then, or they call it a hyphen, all right, and then TV, Guide Us dash TV. And then you can download it. Again, it's a free app, and this is an ongoing thing that we're constantly updating and making sure that they have the best possible connection and so on. So, and all of that doesn't cost the people anything. We're paying for that. And if you join me, you can help me pay for that and get the reward for the people that are coming to Islam, the people that are remaining in Islam that may have given up, because that's the whole point behind what we're doing, is showing us how not to give up. How not to give up on Islam, how not to give up on the Quran, how not to give up on your family, how not to give up on your life. Let's go now back to Islam Newsroom. I want to do that because we've got an article just exactly talking about this subject, how to deal with depression. This is one of the stories that got a lot of attention as soon as we wrote this one. I'll make it a little bit larger so you can see it better. There you go. You know when people tell you, have a nice day, and you're like, okay, but I'm really having some difficulties here. So, and they mean well. People mean well when they say it, but sometimes it feels like, I don't want to have a nice day. I want to deal with my problems. Or I don't want to deal with my problems. Maybe that's even worse, you know. Not everybody's happy, and this is something that's so nice to share with other people who are not Muslim. What do we do for depression? That's a good question. What do we do for depression? Okay. So there was a sister who wrote to me, and this was right at the time of Eid. She said, today's Eid. It's just at the end of last month, you know. She said, we're supposed to be happy, but there was an altercation that came about the family, in the family again. And this morning I felt lost, heartbroken. A couple things went awry. To top it off, I couldn't stop weeping. Okay, then she remembered an ayah. She said she performed a couple, you know, nafil. Nafil is the voluntary prayers. She said it was a comfort. So there's key number one right there. Stop what you're doing. Make wudu and do 2 rak'ah. This is sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. She said all of her anger, bitterness, resentment at the people that hurt her went away. And she realized how really unimportant it was. Then she said patience became easier. Happiness came back when I was prostrating to Allah, glorifying Him, and remembered again that this is my purpose in life. And at that moment, she said, she felt the fulfilling of her purpose, and all the worldly problems just became secondary. After that, she says, the problems didn't seem so bad. Her hope increased. She said you really feel Allah's love and comfort, and it comes from Him. And then from a sad sister, no more in Islam. I said, pray for her and all of our sisters and brothers that are having difficulties these days, just to remember this one tip. She gave us a great tip. Stop, make wudu, and do 2 rak'ah. And say, oh, well, I got this, Stop, make wudu, and do 2 rak'ah. Now, for those of you that are not Muslim, you don't know what I'm talking about. What's a rak'ah? You think I'm talking about going out and rake the leaves or something. No, it's not rake, it's rak'ah. And this is to stand facing toward Qibla, toward Mecca, in a prayer position, like the monks used to do, you know, and say your Fatiha, the initial first chapter of the Quran. Then you bow, and that's ruku'ah. That's where rak'ah comes from, ruku'ah. You're in ruku', then you're bowing. Like you're standing up, like this is, you're standing, right? Then you're bowing. This is your head over here, right? Then stand back up, and then you prostrate on the ground, hands beside your head, like even with your shoulders, nose and forehead touching the ground, and in that position, glorify God. Now, if you said, well, I'm not a Muslim, let me tell you something. Do you think that God needs you to have a label? Don't worry about that right now. You want to get past the depression, don't you? And there's only one way that's going to happen. Your Creator can open up all of these things and solve all your problems. And if you say, well, I can't figure out all that stuff you were just talking about, I understand. But you know what? When I started, I didn't have a clue about it either. I just put my head down on the ground because I saw a Muslim do it. And with my head on the ground, I said this, God, and I was wondering if God could even hear me because I was just saying it under my breath. God, guide me. Guide me. Amazing. Glory to Allah. Glory to God. Subhanallah. Do you know, immediately I could feel there was like a calmness. And I raised my head up. I was outside, by the way. Early morning in Texas, outside, head on the ground. Yep. And I looked around and I said, you know what? It doesn't seem any difference to my eyes, but it feels different to my heart. I knew then and there I had to pursue whatever it was that my Muslim friend was doing, because I could see he had that same thing. I'd watched him for 3 months, and every time he prayed, he'd had this nice smile on his face afterwards. I'd think, oh, man, I got to have that. How can I get past this depression? Let's go back to the article, and I'll go back and finish up what I was telling you about. But I was saying, listen to your heart, okay? And you know, your heart beats for your Lord. Even if you don't know his name is Allah, it doesn't matter. He knows that the heart is right. The heart's right, everything's right. Heart's wrong, nothing's going to work. Let me tell you something. Our Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him. Listen to this, listen to this. He told us that there's an organ in your body, a morsel of flesh, that if it's right, then the whole of your matters are going to be fine. All of your, not just the body, everything in your life is just fine. It's perfect. But one organ in your body. But if it's bad, if it's not right, the whole of your matter is going to be bad. He said rotten. Yeah. And what is that organ, you want to know? The heart. The heart. If the heart's right, it's all right. Heart's not right, ain't nothing right. Stop and think about it. Give your heart to the Lord. Say, God. Now, I'm not talking about, don't think of Muhammad as a Lord, as a God, or anything like that. Don't call on Muhammad. Don't call on Jesus. Don't call on Moses or Abraham. These were people, great people, fantastic people, way beyond my scope. But still at the same time, they're humans. And God, He wants you to have no God beside Him. That's all you got to do. You say, Lord, God, this heart is for you. Then put your head on the ground and say, you guide me. And then remember now, you said it. You ask for that guidance, so you pay attention to what comes afterward. Because you're going to be surprised, but you'll be happy if you follow that guidance. And by the way, if you don't, you're going to be miserable. You're going to be one miserable son of a gun. Because He, the Lord, the creator and sustainer of this universe, gave you a great opportunity. You opened the door, and there it is. But be ready. You got to hold on tight. Let's go back to the article. The Prophet ﷺ, he taught us, and as I mentioned about this, how do we deal with our pain and suffering, especially depression, sadness. And look what these 15 points right here. By the way, you can go back to the website anytime and find the article, all right? Depression. You want to deal with depression. Or go to another website that we've got that'll help you a lot. Listen to this. Search for Islam. Search for Islam.com. Type in the word depression. It'll bring you right back to this page. A bunch of stuff will pop up. Choose the one that's this article on Islam Newsroom. All right. First of all, make ablution, what's called wudu in the Arabic language. Wash yourself up. Get ready. Wash your hands, mouth and nose. Wash your face, arms to the elbows. Just get them wet, you know. Then the head, just wipe the head with damp. You don't have to throw water on your head, but just get your hands wet and then pass them over the top of your head. Bring it back. Clean out your ears. Then wash the 2 feet. Now, if you have 3 feet, we can wash all 3 of them. But after that, this is considered the ceremonial ablution or wudu that's required for Muslims when they want to pray. Then, you'll feel good after you do that. Put on something nice that you like, something nice that you like to wear. A garment that covers your body, you know, fully covers you. Then, facing toward, if you're in America, it's sort of north and east. And say, Allah Akbar. If you say it together, you say Allahu Akbar. That means God's the greatest. Or you just say it in English. Say, God is the greatest. Okay? And you've already got yourself started. And like I said, if you don't know how to go through all this procedure, you can come back here and read about it. We also have it online to give full explanation. But if you just want to put your head down on the ground, you can do that too. And say, God, guide me. And when you say it, in Arabic, it's even more powerful. Number 6. Look at number 6 on here. You'll see what I'm talking about. Let me see if I can make it a little bit bigger for you. There you go. Number 6. Begin your little prayer with these words. And I'm talking about this is the person who doesn't know anything yet. You're just getting kind of started trying to experiment, see what this is about. Just say this. Ihdina. Can you do that? It's like I-H. Ihdina. Try it. Ihdina. Then the next word, siratul. Not sai. It looks like sai. It's si. Siratul. Ihdina siratul. Then say this. Mustaqim. Ihdina siratul mustaqim. Then just stop for a second and realize what you just said. Ihdina, that means guide us. Sirat means a path or, you know, a way to go somewhere, a road. And mustaqim, astaqim is to be straight. Mustaqim, the straight path. So you just ask Almighty God to guide us to the straight path. And pray for everybody to be on that straight path. Because that's going to be, you want world peace, that's the only way. People have to be at peace inside of themselves and be at peace with their Lord, well, they're never going to find any peace. If you don't know God, no peace. You know God, you'll know peace. I'm playing with the words. You know how that works. If you know God, you'll know peace. But if you have no God, you've got no peace. Simple as that. Amazing, huh? So, anyway, that's how you get started. You can read the rest of this. Take your time with it. Get more information about this. We're going to take a little short break. This short break, we're going to be right back because I've got something else I want you to see on Islam Newsroom. Stay right there.
Guidance TV.
Welcome Sheikh Yusuf Asnas and the newly converted Muslims.
MashaAllah. Newly converted Muslims. MashaAllah, MashaAllah. Oh, I love this. And you can watch it anytime if you just get the apps. The free apps for iPhones, iPads. Also the smartphones. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. The smartphones and the Android phones. You'll be able to do it real easy. And it is free. And you can watch it anytime. Wa alaikum salam. We're about ready to give some more shahadas, and you can join us. You can also help donate. Donate online at guideus.tv. Yeah, guideus.tv/donate. Allahu Akbar. And you can be helping these people get to Islam too. Ah, Allahu Akbar. Allah gives the hidayah. He guides the people with Guide Us TV.
Guidance TV.
We're back with Islam Newsroom, and I want to take you to one of our top stories about Saif al-Islam Gaddafi. And this is the story we've got on Islam Newsroom. Top of the page. Take a look at this. See for yourself. Here's the story that we got, and I'll let you, whoa, I think it went right back out again, didn't it? There we go. Let you decide what you think about this. In Libya, in Tripoli, Libya, they held a trial on a number of the former officials of the Libyan ruler, Muammar Gaddafi. That was this past Tuesday, including Gaddafi's son, Saif al-Islam Gaddafi. Actually, I guess that's yesterday, wasn't it? Gaddafi's son, Saif al-Islam, was ordered to face a firing squad for the role that he played trying to put down the open rebellion against the government of Libya. His father, Muammar Gaddafi, in the 2011 revolution that eventually led to his father being kicked out. So those of you that know all about this, I'm sure you know much better than I do, but for those Americans here watching this and want to know something about this, they do have him. They've had him in custody for some time, and they have decided now that they want to, they've ordered that he be shot by a firing squad. Well, anyway, don't panic, those of you that are on the side of let's don't kill people. Don't panic, because even though he's in custody, he's not in their custody. He's being held by another group in a place called Zintan, a group, a militia. They got him in Zintan, and they are not recognizing anything that comes out of Tripoli. And so the UN is kind of stepping in on this thing and having a look at it. We'll see what transpires. But anyway, you can get the whole story there on Guide Us TV. If you want to, check it out and see what the progress, because we'll keep you updated on those kind of things. Another story that we have, I'll go down to this one, is about Hillary. Whoa, what happened here? We lost our story. Let me see what happened. That's not supposed to do that. There it is. I know what happened. We had a wrong link on that on the icon there. Okay. Hillary Clinton's secret emails that were under suspicion. This came up last Saturday. Then there was an update from Friday's criminal proceedings that were being brought against Hillary for using a private email instead of the one that is a public email that she's supposed to use as in her role in the government, State Department. So anyway, her statements claim she turned over all the work-related email correspondence, including 50,000 pages of her 4-year reign from 2009 to 2013. Okay, her staff, though, is saying a different story. They acknowledge that, in fact, there are a number of gaps in her record keeping in the documents that she kept. She was obliged by State Department to make public any emails within allowance of disclosure law's permissibility, and she started releasing them in separate batches up until the beginning of the next year, so this coming year. So that's something that's going on right now, and here's a little something I know about, that there were some folks that were Hillary supporters, and at the campaign headquarters they have this icon. See, the icon says, "I'm with Hillary." Yeah, well, some of them came up with, "Are you with Hillary?" "I'm not with Hillary." So they changed it. Some of her supporters are now, you know, detractors from her efforts there. Now, here's our question. Tell us, in a world, how you feel about Hillary Clinton for president in view of these findings. Do you trust her in the #1 position of world politics? Keep in mind, the United States has a huge impact on every other country in the world. So, based on these findings, does this encourage you or discourage you from voting for her? Can she be the person we can depend on for justice and fair government? Would you vote for her or no? And then why? Okay, these are comments you can leave right here or on Facebook and Twitter. Some of the comments we already have, somebody said, "I, for one, would like to hear what she has to say about all this and not be persuaded by media hype." That's all. Okay, Brother Muhammad, well, in MA it says, "I want to tell you that I share that with you. I want to hear what she has to say because I've been a victim of that media hype for a long time." Then another brother in USA, no name, says, "Let's give her a chance to clear it up before we pass judgment." That's the Islamic way. I like this, guys. Another one says, "All politicians are alike, men or women. They all want the fame and power. Who cares?" Sister said that. Maybe, maybe not. And then somebody else said, "I know she heard, oh yeah, Yusuf asked this program about Islam. What does he have to say about all this anyway?" Okay, well, you asked me, I'll tell you. This was when she was campaigning to be the senator from New York. One of our sisters, a convert to Islam named Khadijah, had the opportunity to attend the fundraiser that she was having, along with some people from the embassies there in New York. So she met Hillary Clinton, and while they were talking, she passed her one of my CDs. I don't have one right here to show you, but she passed her one of my CDs called "What's Islam?" Then Hillary gave her her phone number. Well, she called her the next day and said, "Did you listen to it?" It's the audio. Said, "No." Called her the next day. "Did you listen to it?" "No." Third day, she called her again. She said, "Listen, you gonna keep calling me?" She said, "Yeah, I'm gonna keep calling you till you listen to it." She said, "You know what? All right, I want to do it." The next day when she called her, said, "Did you listen to it?" She said, "Yes, I listened to it." She said, what do you think? She said, I think we need 50,000 of them distributed here in New York to all of the chiefs of police and the people in the police departments, etc., because they need to know the real truth about this religion. Yes. Yes. Unfortunately, I couldn't get the 50,000 distributed, and the government doesn't allow to distribute, use public funds for distributing religious materials, which is fine with me. I don't expect the government to do that anyway. But I do expect the government to be fair in their treatment of everybody. And that is exactly what I saw. Then after she left that office, then I happened to be up in New York again and met with the chiefs of police at the, what do they call that, Botanical Gardens, one Ramadan. And you know that they were so excited because they had, after they heard about this whole thing, they had wanted to get these CDs, but where were they going to get them? I had about 1,000 of them with me, not 50,000, 1,000. So what I did to the officers that were interested, the chiefs of police is what it was, and at a dinner that they were holding, and I passed out these to them and asked them, if you guys will each make 50 copies, that'll do the job. You know, I don't know if there's a connection, but it wasn't long after that some of the police departments were giving information about how they had been wrongly targeting Muslims, wrongly charging Muslims with things, and wrongly going after them and spying on them, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah, if you remember the news about that, this happened after these police departments were able to get this information. So this is why we need to have Islam Newsroom, because this is exactly the kind of news you and I need to know about. This will make a difference. What about Hillary Clinton? I'm not trying to influence you one way or another on a politician. I'm just saying, from our experience, she showed a fairness. Think about it. And maybe that's why her enemies are attacking her. There are some people out there that don't necessarily like Islam. You know that, right? And they'll stop at nothing to shut down Muslims, kill Muslims, or do anything else. Some of them are out there killing Muslims right now in other countries. Now, I'm not saying I have the answer for everything, but Islam has a beautiful answer, and that is get information to these people. If they continue after that, they're declaring war on God himself, and they'll find out what's going to happen to them. But until we put the information out there, they've got that blanket to hide under, don't they? I didn't know, nobody told me. So let's don't be silent anymore. Let's put it in gear. What do you say? Let's get the message out there. Couple ways we can do that. Couple ways we can do that. You can help us in the distribution of these little pocket Qurans that we're sending out. We're sending them out to anybody that's requesting them. And right now, we've still got more than half, and a lot more than half, as a matter of fact, and we want to get them out. So help me do that. $5 will get one out. $25 will get 5 of them out. $100, I'll put 20 of them out there. That's for the postage and shipping only, because these have already been paid for. These are all paid for by one of our brothers. Make dua for him. He doesn't want his name mentioned. He did the whole entire shipment, even paid to get them to us. So let's do that. That's number one. Number two, and support what we're doing. See that? That little bumper sticker right there has had a huge impact on a lot of people, because wherever you drive your car, people see that bumper sticker and they go, huh, what's that? It says worship the Creator, not the creation. Worship Allah, not what He made. Worship the Creator, not the creation. A lot of people like that. Then they see, Guidance TV, let's check it out. Then it's up to us. You've done your part. You send them to us. if they tune into the channel. And it's the website. We put the website on there because this is all over the world. The website's everywhere. If they go to the website, they will see that we also have a satellite. Some of you are watching this on satellite right now. Also, they will find that we have antennas in Houston, Texas, Dallas, Fort Worth, Columbus, Ohio, where we are right now, New York, and Los Angeles. And we're ready to put in more. And I want you to be part of that. Whether you do a little something every month or something really big, that's up to you. But be part of this. Be part of it. Join us. Won't you do that? Think about it, okay? And how? I know you're saying how. Donate to Islam.com. We can put it up on the screen. You can see it. It's very simple. Donate to Islam.com. And whenever you support what we're doing, we can use the funding. If you say particularly you want us to mail out the Qur'ans, that's what we're going to do, because there are projects on there that you can do that. But there's also projects for sending out other materials, CDs, DVDs, booklets, pamphlets, basic information, handling questions, dealing with some of the attacks on Islam. And then there's also this broadcast itself, the Islam Newsroom broadcast that's coming to you right now. Your donations pay for that. We don't accept any advertising. I don't want to do that. I hope and I pray that it doesn't come to that. Maybe on a local level for some of our antennas, I can understand that, because these are organizations that do need to raise funds for their organization. But I want to keep what we're doing far away from any kind of advertising or corruption or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? We're going to take a break. We'll come right back and we'll wrap up our program right after this. Don't go away. Stay right where you are and get guided with Guidance TV.
إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My name is Yusuf Ad-Dagush. I'm a Quran reciter and a Quran teacher, also an Imam and director of the Quran school at Islamic Center of San Gabriel Valley, California. Alhamdulillah. Do we need Guidance TV? Yes, we do. We really need people to understand this beautiful religion that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has blessed us with. And through this channel, people will understand, and God will open their hearts and understand the real message. This channel will tell you the real thing about Islam. You're not gonna go. Someone else is not Muslim. He's gonna tell you about Islam. You have to go to the right person, and this is the right channel to watch and listen and open your heart to understand this beautiful religion. Thank you for watching. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Get guided with Guidance TV.
We're back You're watching the newsroom, Islam Newsroom, here on Guidus TV. And want to wrap up today's program by taking you to our headlines again and just briefly touch on what we've seen and what's going on. The book that we've talked about, or pages from the book that we've talked about before, actually this presents an excellent opportunity for us to clarify. Now, there's scholars that are confused over this because they feel like, how could something that goes back to the late 500s, early 600s, how could it be exactly the same as what's being offered today for Muslims worldwide? Because they've always tried to say that, well, you know, it must have been changed, that Uthman came up with a new Quran and blah, 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 blah. And that's not true. The real story behind that is very simple. Uthman was one of many, may Allah be pleased with him, one of many who had memorized the entire Quran. He called some other of the Hufaz of Quran, this means the preservers of the Quran, together. And what they did, they went over some of the manuscripts people were writing at that time and wanted to be sure that they didn't have mistakes. So they said, let's pull it all in. And anything it's not exactly what we memorized from Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, we'll destroy that, but then we will publish something and we will say this is official from us, those who are all memorizers of the Quran. Because anybody memorizes it exactly verbatim of what their teacher teaches them, otherwise they won't give you the ijazah, the diploma. It has to be letter for letter. 6,660 odd verses. All of them have to be perfect, not just to the verse, not just to the word, but to the actual letter, and they have to be the same. So this is what Uthman did. And some of those pages did survive simply because there was nothing wrong in what had been written by individuals. And that's what they discovered. And it's exactly what we have today. Except that in those days, they didn't put numbers on the surahs, and they didn't always number the, you know, like number 1 verse, number 2 verse, and so on. They just put little dots after it. You can take a look. Let me see if I can bring it up where you can see it pretty decent here. Yeah. I'm going to try to increase it for you a little bit. Let me see what we can do. There you go. I don't know how well that's coming over the TV set, but if you'll notice these, if you know Arabic, you notice that there are no vowel markings. The vowel markings for the Quran and for the Hebrew Bible were not there until just over 1,000 years ago. The Muslims did it first. In the late 600s, they began to put these vowel marks, diacritical marks, and then after that, in the 9th century, I think it was, or was it 7th? The Hebrew books called the Masorati text, they began to add those vowel markings because these languages don't have vowels. You have to assume from the construction of the consonants how to pronounce the words, whether it's him, whom, or ham. Okay, you have to know that by the way it's structured. And if you don't know Arabic and you're not familiar with the words, it's really easy to mispronounce them. Okay, also you will find, and let me see if I can show you on here. I don't know how big I can make this on here. I can try. Yeah, these little dots that you see right here, that's so that you know. I don't think you can see this. I really don't. No. But there's some dots. I don't know if you see even the arrow that I'm doing right there. Dots over there, there's 2 stacked up. That's a ta sound. And down here, looks like sort of maybe a diamond shape. That's the end of a verse. That's what that is. There's no number on it. Also, they didn't particularly name the surahs or chapters. That came later. People would just refer to it by something in the verse itself. And this is why there are different there are different names that they call these, and there are different numberings of the verses because they didn't do that at that time. This is different things that people come up with on their own. But the words themselves are the same. Nobody can play with that. Because if you try, and then you try to say, well, I have a Quran here, blah, 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 in Arabic, of course, it's the only language it came in, then somebody could come along and say, well, let's listen to somebody recite. Because everybody in the world, and I've been all the way around the entire world, I have, alhamdulillah, rabbil alameen, and I've been in countries like all the Gulf countries, in Pakistan and Egypt, but also in countries like Turkey and in, for instance, Japan, Malaysia, and everywhere I went, the reciters of Quran, those who memorize the Quran, and there are more than 22 million, all of them recite exactly the same. Now, for those who are born in Islam, you don't realize the impact that this has on these scholars because they can't find any other book like that people have made copies of over the years and try to perpetuate a teaching. The Iliad and the Odyssey is a great example. Shakespeare is another great example. If you don't know about this, you take a language course, take the English language course and find out for yourself. All of these documents, they'll tell you, well, Iliad and the Odyssey really was not written by Homer. It was written by his students and they put his name on it. Oh. And Shakespearean plays, many of those are written by people that were actors or participators in those plays, and they wrote it down, so that's why they're not all the same. Also, even more recently, statements from Lincoln and Washington, Benjamin Franklin, Thomas Edison have been plagiarized and changed a little bit here and there, and sometimes everywhere. So when you find a document that's exactly the same as exactly the new stuff that's being passed out, that's amazing. And that's why some of those folks wanted to say, well, they don't believe it could be that old, and they think the carbon dating must be off, and they want to do some other tests. Why? Because they have been subscribing to this idea that the Quran has been changed over the years, especially that it wasn't written down at the time of Muhammad, and peace be upon him. And anybody that's a scholar of Islam knows that it was written down at the time of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I want to wrap it up with that because this gives me a chance to go back and to talk about some of the things that we've been talking about tonight. When I feel a little bit down or sad, I just stop and remember that I've got a place I can go, Islam Newsroom, and I can get the kind of news that I need that makes me feel good about being a Muslim. Like, for instance, the Korean soldiers that decided to become Muslims. And this is an amazing thing when you think about it, that these guys accepted Islam even though they're in Korea, and they were praying together, doing their salat together, and learning Islam together. The stories that we have about other subjects, there are being updated every day, every day. And finally, I want you to be part of it. And it's not about the amount of money. It is about the amount of sincerity that we put into what we're doing. Whether you do $5 a month, $100 a month, $1,000 a month, whatever you do, please do it monthly. Please do the monthly thing. Whatever you do, do it monthly. If you said, well, I want to give $100 one time and that's it, I'll tell you what, I'd rather see you do $10 a month and just keep it going forever. It won't put a burden on you near as much, but it will continue to give you the rewards even after I'm gone. I want this to continue. And if we don't set up something now, it's not going to continue. I'll promise you that. Because there isn't any other income. There's no other way this is going to work unless we continue to work and put everything we've got into it. Not asking you to do what I'm doing or my family. We're putting everything into it. But at least do something. Hold up your side of the deal. We do that. Donate to Islam.com. I'm going to say it again. Donate to Islam.com. That's the website. That's how you can be a part of it. Or if you want to do something real quick, you can text the word Islam to 414 444. Whether you text the word Islam to 41444, or if you go to Donate to Islam, it's all up to you. But do something and get guided with Guidance TV. Till next time, peace. Assalamu alaikum.